Hello, welcome to December 5th, 2022. My name is Kurt, and this is my daily Good Life meditation video. This is an exercise that I perform each and every morning shortly after waking up. It's 4:27 a.m. right now. I do this in order to remember my life objectives and principles, those that are outlined in my book, Going Alone, in the chapter titled The Good Life. I also do this to remember the challenges and opportunities that I faced last night and yesterday, even right now, even this very moment, and also to prepare for today and whatever opportunities and challenges I might face today. So let's get into it. And good morning, Parker. And thank you, Parker, for an amazing adventure on Saturday. That was so much fun. All right, so let's talk about what's going on right now. Just not feeling it. Having a hard time getting myself up and ready to face the day. It's not like I have a day of work ahead of me. It's a Monday. It's not like it's going to be a particularly hard Monday. Just not feeling it today. You know how sometimes that's just the case. So what am I going to do about it? I'm going to just press through. Experience, and this goes under the principle of maturity. Experience tells me that this feeling doesn't last very long once I start pressing into the day in earnest, which I am doing right now, making this video, sitting here with a shirt buttoned up, with a cup of coffee straight and steady in my hand, my eyes looking at the camera, my words coming out as carefully as I can, isn't helping. But I know I'm headed toward something that will. I'm literally forcing it right now. I just don't want to be doing this. But I have to do my day. I have to work today. So what I will do is I will force, I've got about another 2 hours, an hour and a half of this forced endeavor to get through. I'll force myself to make it through this video. Not make it through, I'll definitely make it through. I'll force myself through this video without slacking off. I will then force myself to get up and feed my dogs, feed our dogs, walk the dogs. I'll change into my work clothes, and I'll sit down and I'll start my work day in earnest. Experience informs me that probably within half an hour of starting my work day, certainly within an hour, this feeling will begin to slacken and release a little bit, and I'll settle into my day. The quality of the day will then depend on how well I can keep that up. Now, my job is one I could easily slack off in. My work desk is right there. My reading chair is right here. I have books right here. I only have like 3 or 4 meetings today. I could easily sit in this chair. And now I'm past my probationary period at work, and I'm still employed, which means I'm very safe with my union job. I could easily spend time between meetings sitting in this chair reading, drinking coffee, doing whatever I want to do, sleeping even. But I know that if I did that, I would have a grievous price to pay in that moment, throughout the day, and through the succeeding days. I cannot do that. I am not built that way. I'm not trained or molded, haven't molded myself into that kind of man. I'm literally incapable of slacking off. So I will, even though I could do all of that, I won't. I'll sit there at my desk, and I'll have to force myself because it'll be a little bit tempting. The kind of thing I could be tempted to do, maybe, or I could closely entertain the idea of doing, is walking into the next room and taking a nap, which I won't do either. I will sit here and I will work 9 hours, solid, steady, taking a 20-minute break in the morning, a 20-minute break in the afternoon. These are union specified allocated breaks, and then a half-hour lunch break, and I will work. And by the evening, I'll feel good about myself. Will I feel better all around? Probably not. that's a consequence of both the fact of the stress of my job, which permeates me every day throughout the day, but it's also I think it's a factor of my age, that I'm getting older, and I just can't take it the way I used to. But I will force myself to it. Forcing myself. Okay, as for yesterday, I had an unexpected thing happen. In the morning, we had our plans. We were going to catch up on our shopping and our cleaning yesterday, because we normally Sunday's our day off. Yesterday was Sunday, but the schedule was a little flipped around this weekend. So yesterday was the shopping and cleaning day, and I did in the morning. I did all my cleaning chores. I cleaned this room, the living room, the bathroom, and the hall. Did a real good top to bottom thorough cleaning. And then I went to, I noticed that the air pressure was low in one of the tires in my wife's car. So I went to put some air in it. And while I was there, and I washed it, and while I was there, getting the air, I noticed that not only was the tire low, it had developed a crack in the side of the tire. It's like, holy crap. And the tread was a little bit low. I knew it was getting close, but I thought it still had a little miles left in it. So I came back and I told Yumiko, we have to put on hold our shopping. Your tires are too dangerous to drive on. So I literally spent half the day at Costco Tire getting new tires. I elected to get all 4 new tires put on. Had lunch at Costco, a pizza and a hot dog. Very cheap. And then came home, and then Yumiko and I went out dinner shopping. As a result, I didn't get to do my ocean swim. I was going to do it after dark. I keep threatening to do it after dark, but I haven't been. 20, 30 years ago, I definitely would have just gone after dark, but getting older, brings its inhibitions. Maybe, I'm sure Yumiko would say, wiser inhibitions. So as for challenges and opportunity, I had the challenge of being ambushed by a $500 expense, new tires, and being challenged by the ambush of the need to do something unplanned in a day that I had other plans, namely shopping and cleaning, which I wound up getting done. But the thing that paid the price was the absolutely dear afternoon, evening swim that I enjoy so much in the ocean. But, got to take care of the necessities, right? I think I handled all of that well. I recognized the necessities for what they were. I reprioritized the day, and I ate the expense. And just press forward. Yeah. All right. Those memories just spawned other thoughts of responsibility. So many thoughts of responsibility. I guess that's the time of my life here, right? This is the responsible time of my life. Hopefully coming to a close. After Emily is fully grown and, well, she's fully grown, but fully educated and on her own 2 feet. And Yumiko and I can begin to lift up our feet a little bit and stop standing so upright and rigid throughout the day. carrying all these responsibilities, the two of us. Just tired. And it's hard here. Life in Southern California is a lot of hard work. Well, it's really hard work because Yumiko and I never put down roots. Right? That's our own fault. If we'd stayed in the house that we bought, it would be paid off, and life would be a lot different, a lot easier. But would it have been as satisfying as this? I mean, as tough as it is sometimes, and as tired as I am, I'm very satisfied with life. And I'm looking forward to the next adventure and journey, and I'm having fun right now. Very pleased with how things have turned out. So there's that. There's something to be said for that, although it did come at the price of stability and security. But that's a price that Yumiko and I are both willing to pay. Now we just have to bear the consequence of that, right, for a couple more years. All right, let's do the good life. My 7 objectives as follows. Number 1 is to always be ready to die, to have my life affairs and my relationships and my life's work in order. And I think I do. I like the affairs. I think affairs are getting a little messy right now. I need to step in and straighten that up a little bit. Oh well. Relationships are good. Although I didn't call my mom this weekend, I meant to. My life's work is fine. It's doing well. So yeah, I think that's it's not complete, but these things are not complete, but they're works in progress, and they're close enough. Close enough for death. To make good and effective use of my time, to not waste my days. Not wasting my days lately. Making good use of time. Really squeezing a lot out of these days. Although I was thinking this morning how vulnerable I am. I was noting the scar where my surgery was for my hernia, how it's healing so well, and the hernia is completely solved. It seemed to have been a very successful surgery. And I was thinking about, wow, what would my life be if that hadn't happened? I'd be dealing with that hernia all day, every day. And likewise for the surgery that I had in my eye, cataract. I'd be practically blind in my left eye. And I was thinking, wow, if it wasn't for modern medical things, I would be not crippled by my hernia, but certainly debilitated a little bit. It was an awkward thing. You have to walk around poking in your guts and your back in your body all the time, and half blind. That's the state of things. It's been addressed with medicine and surgery, but it's the state of things nonetheless. So to make good and effective use of time is a more urgent affair. The third objective is to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. That's these 7 objectives and 32 principles. And I do that by thinking about them in the morning when I do this exercise, and then throughout the day they come to mind. And I tinker with them and I make them better, adding sub-principles, adjusting the language, the way I think about them. And I don't just do that now with this video. I do it throughout the day. These principles are alive and active in my mind. Okay, next is to cultivate good emotional reactions. This is number 4. To become a man who reacts well to life, particularly to the challenges of life. And I did. There were minor challenges yesterday, but I reacted well. The trick is, how will I react when the horror comes? I have a feeling I'm pretty vulnerable to that. I may dissolve into a puddle of piss and phlegm. I don't know my capacity for horror. Next, number 6, I think, is to, no, this is number 5, to perform good actions, just to do good things throughout the day. And then number 6, that is, to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities, as I was talking about before. And number 7 is to do just one thing at a time and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully, not multitasking. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, now my 32 principles are as follows. Number 1 is the principle of war, to always be fighting against propositions of truth, things that I've already onboarded as truth, and particularly things that other people suggest that I believe is true. I want to fight against those things. They need to, if they're important, that is, they need to show some reason to think that they are true. Number 2 is the principle of reason, with its 4 sub-principles of honesty, being true, objectivity, looking at things accurately and squarely, skepticism, being doubtful, holding things in only tentatively and with good evidence, and even things I already believe. And then lastly is the sub-principle of humiliation, to be able to welcome the humiliation of discovering that I'm wrong, because thank goodness I've been relieved of my error. Number 3, third principle, is homunculus. I don't think we have a soul. I think we each get a consciousness, and then that only as long as we're conscious, which winks out when we're dead. And that's number 4, the 4th principle, which is the anchor hold, the idea that the consciousness, the homunculus, is trapped inside our skulls and can't get out. It will die with us. Number 5 is the home of good and evil. Right and wrong don't exist in the universe outside of our minds. They're just opinions that we have about how life should work. Number 6 is the principle of purpose. I have 3 purposes in life, 3 purpi, if you will. The first is to be a good husband and father. That's what I do in pushing through this difficulty this morning. I don't know if you can see it in my face, but I'm struggling. This is a tough morning. It's going to be a tough week, a tough day. But my purpose is to be a good husband and father, and a good husband and father pushes through the difficulty. Good, parent and spouse pushes through the difficulty, as I will, because I fulfill my obligation every day. My second purpose is to be a virtuous human being, pursuing the improvement of the well-being of thinking creatures. And to that end, I have a few things to do today. And number 3 is the sharing of my book, Going Alone, which has the story of how I went alone into a wilderness setting to discover the emptiness of the universe and to formulate the good life creed and strive to do better, come back, continue build and create a family, and make a good life, a virtuous life out of the emptiness of the universe. All right, next is the atomic principle. Everything is made of bits and pieces, atoms and molecules falling to pieces. And then next is the principle of maturity. And we are mature when we wisely remember our past successes and failures, and we have the strength to press on through the difficulties. And this yields a life that has integrity, or our work product. The work product of our hard efforts, not just professional but personal too, yield a life that is in accord with our values. Sorry. The next principle is the pirate ride. Free will is an illusion, a very convincing one, but I don't think it's real at all. Next comes atomic principle of nature. Oh, I mixed it up a little bit. I put in principle of maturity where nature belonged. Let me back up. The principle of nature suggests that everything has some particular nature, including people and animals and plants and days and circumstance. Monday has a nature. Its nature is to be hard and to be in regret of Sunday and desperation over the week ahead. That's how it feels right now. It also has a way of being relieved by hard work. Okay, let's fast forward back. So maturity, wisdom, and fortitude. And then the social principle, we're social creatures, we need each other. We should be diplomatic in our efforts with others to reach good agreements about what constitutes a good city, a good life, how to make a good place. We have to be seeking after justice together, and then conspiring, working together to achieve those ends. Then comes the principle of public speaking, merely a suggestion that to work hard, to be able to communicate well and clearly, and to listen well as well. And the sub-principles are our best words. Developing a good vocabulary that we can use carefully. Eloquence, by practicing. Prudence, which is the filter that we use to ensure that what comes out of our mouth, our pen, and our keyboard is in accord with our values. Back to that integrity thing. And then rumor and gossip. I try to avoid those. They're not good things. They're sin. They are sins, in effect. Not sins against any God, but sins against good living. Excuse me for a second. Oh. Okay, now, fiber. Temperance. Life will not go well. The horror show. That which must be born. And the feast of woeful. Taken together, temperance suggests that we need to be able to control our consumption. Life will not go well is a reminder that life's hard. The horror show is a reminder that horrible, scary, terrible things are coming our way, if not already here. Auto accidents, cancer, horrible mental health issues, whatever, you name it, it's coming. It's the nature of life to bring horror with it. If it's not happening to you or yours now, it's on its way. I hate to say that, but it's true. And we have to be ready for it, as ready as we can be. Like I said before, I don't know, even though I talk about it every day and I think about it every day, I don't know that I'm ready for it. I'll try. Okay. That which must be born says we have to bear all that. We have to carry all that weight. It's our responsibility as adults. And then the feast of woeful is simply a suggestion not to, unburden our weight of adult life onto others by spewing up our upset and frustration onto them, but to carry it ourselves. There's better ways to, deal with it. Okay, I got through that. The next principle is the feast of woeful. I'm sorry. That was the one I just talked about. The best seat in the house. Do not want to be anyone else, be anywhere else, or be doing anything else. But to try to be okay with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing, all the while striving for better. I'm so tired. I really don't want to do this day. But I will. Okay, now it comes up four principles together: the restless man, the path of wildness, the great life adventure, and the risk of avoiding risk. Taken together, the restless man is simply a reminder that a lot of us feel kind of a restlessness, particularly in our youth, to have an interesting life or an adventure in our life. And I simply point out that if that's you, then you should give yourself that adventure, preferably at a young age, between 25 and 30 after university and before you start your career. That's enough, usually. And then you will have dealt with that. Now, for my case, I tend to like to throw it in continually every 3 or 4 years, 5 years, 10 years. Another great life adventure. That's the next one. So the path of wildness is to get to that new life, that new adventure, and then the great life adventure is the adventure itself. And the risk of avoiding risk principle speaks to the consequence of not doing that. That you might have to pay a price later in life. But you pay a price if you do it too, most likely. It's pretty hard to do balance both of those. Some people pull it off. Not me. I paid the price by maybe not too much adventure, but more adventure than not. And now I'm not as stable and secure as I would have otherwise been. And I accept that consequence. Okay, next is the risk of avoiding risk. The deep level risk of life is not finding yourself, having that adventure I mentioned. The surface level risks, there are 5. The risk of not getting a good education or starting a good career, meeting someone and marrying, creating a family and a home, and saving for your old age. If you do those things, then you'll have a pretty stable life. If you don't do those things, then you're going to have to work harder or longer. The tricky one is the deep one, satisfying that inner anxiousness and eagerness for some adventure in life. Okay. Next is sin and damnation. There are 8 sins in my worldview. These relate to believing things too easily, being untrue yourself, or being a rumor spreader or a gossip. And particularly these are falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, dogma, authority, rumor, and gossip. Do any of those things and we're sinning against better living, and the consequences are in the here and now. Complete oblivion is next. After death, there's nothing to follow. No, we have no soul. There is no God. There's no afterworld. There's no heaven or hell. It's just oblivion. And if that's true, then there's no chance to have a happy reunion with the ones we left behind, or who left us first, or a chance to reconcile any difference with these people, or a chance to see any justice served, because none of that is a thing after death. So we'd be better off pursuing those things while we have a chance, while we're alive. The bullseye aim is the next principle that suggests that we strive to hit the mark but usually miss. I use that one throughout the day because I'm missing the mark all day long, every day. Then the uphill climb, climbing upward in life, trying to make today a better day than yesterday, or at least an improvement upon yesterday. Arena and utility. Life is this arena where we are constantly facing challenges and opportunities, and we get a chance, and how we respond to them depends on how we wield our principles towards our objectives. So I'm reminding myself to just stay in the fray, keep the principles sharp, keep the objectives in view. Nothing is enough. Boy, I sure wish I could get by with less. I really like to begin paring things down. And next is the principle of fun, and that's the last one. Principle of Fun suggests to try to have a good, happy life, fun life now, or at least enjoy fun times when you can, because there's a lot of hard work. Also enjoy the memory of fun times from the past, and then to plan for fun times in the future. And that's it. That's my Good Life Creed. 7 objectives and 32 principles. As I said, all available in my book, Going Alone. Available on Amazon or from my website, goingalone.org. If you buy it from my website, it's a signed copy and hand illustrated. All right. Now, today, I've got a tough day ahead of me, and I'm just going to do it. So I'll turn this camera off in just a second, collect myself. You can see I'm still out of it. In fact, I feel more out of it now than when the camera first started. Slouching in my chair. The coffee's not doing its trick. I'm just not in it today. But I'm going to do it. And I carry on through. In fact, I know that I expect the day will improve as I push through. And within a couple of hours, I'll be feeling a lot better. And if not, that's okay too. Because this is what I've trained for all my life. Growing into becoming a stoic adult. Trained to bear this. Difficult days. In the pursuit of the well-being of thinking creatures. Namely, at this point, my daughter. All right. Be safe, but not too safe. Take care. Oh, and I forgot to say, and with that, my life is done. Now I say be safe, but not too safe. There you go. I'll get that down. Take care.